Okay, so given this triangle, okay, should I use SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? Yep. Yeah, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, I'm given two sides, so I can do SOHCAHTOA. What if I am given this triangle with one side? Okay, is this SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? SOHCAHTOA because? Because there's only one triangle, and even though I only gave you guys one side length, but I also give you an angle. Okay. What about this one? And 42. So for this one, SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? Yep. Okay, so Arya says SOHCAHTOA. Huh? Neither. Why? Right. So you can't do either or. When I give you two angles, it's not enough info to solve for the. It's not enough to use SOHCAHTOA or similar triangles. So this one I can't use either or. What about this one then? Okay, this one I give you all three sides. Okay, this one I give you all three sides. SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? This one where I give you all three sides, is this SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? It's also again neither. Why? There's no right angle. SOHCAHTOA only works on right angle triangle. I never said this was 90 degree. So if it's not a right angle triangle, you cannot do SOHCAHTOA. So in order to use SOHCAHTOA, you have to be a right angle triangle, and I have to give you at least one side. Okay. So this one, even though it's a right angle, but I didn't give any side, I cannot. This one, not a right angle triangle, I cannot. Okay, what about this one right here then? 6, 2, and 5. Okay. This one. Okay, this one, SOHCAHTOA or similar triangle? Similar triangle because?
There's two triangles that have the same triangle.
Right, I can use similar triangle, but also SOHCAHTOA because I see two triangles, but at the same time, I also see two right angle triangles. So in this case, I could use both. I could use either or. Right? And this one right here. Okay. What about this one? Similar triangle or SOHCAHTOA? Yep.
Similar triangle because there's given, and you can use SOHCAHTOA because
Good. Okay. But for this one, can you trace out for me where are your two triangles?
so the points
And? Right. And then the big triangle right here. Okay. So this question always tricks people because they would look at just the bottom part of it. But if you take a look at just the bottom part, you can see it's not a triangle. It's a trapezoid. So your two triangles are the top one and the big one. Yeah.
How do you know this is similar
triangle? Because this angle has to be equivalent to this angle. And then this angle for the small triangle is the same as for the big triangle. So in that case, then all three angles are the same. So remember the definition of a similar triangles is that all the angles are the same.
I didn't know that those two angles.
So I should actually here. There you go. Then it will make it the same. Yeah. And let's see, anything else? Oh yeah. So for example, this one right here, for this one, what's my K value? For similar triangle, what's my K value? Yeah, 3. Yeah, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the ratio between the big triangle with the small triangle is a factor of 3. Now let's say I have this. I don't know, 45, something like that. And I do my math and I get the answer 18. All right, how do I know this is wrong? Yep. The hypotenuse has to be the longest side. So I know for sure that I made a mistake somewhere. Okay. And if I were given two sides, what's the easiest way to, let's say I'm given those, what's the easiest way to find the hypotenuse? Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Don't forget the other formula, the only other formula, area of the large shape equals k squared times area of the smaller shape. Okay, so those are really the only two, and SOHCAHTOA. So those are the only three things you need to memorize in this test. The spelling of SOHCAHTOA, Pythagorean theorem, and this area formula. Yep.
For K, is K always greater than 1? Like, for example before, is it not 1 over 3? Like, can it be both? Or is it just the grade?
Good question. It depends on how you say it. So if you are, what is the ratio from the larger shape to the smaller shape, then it's a third. If you say what is the ratio between the smaller shape to the larger shape, then it's by 3. So it just depends on how you say it. But usually we would do the bigger number divide by the smaller number. Yeah. Paul, your question? Oh, this one? Area of the large shape is the area of the small shape times that area. So if we were to figure out the area of, so like for example, this one, if we were to figure out the area of the, so for this one right here, let's say 5 times 2 divided by 2. So the area of the red part, this is 5 centimeters square, right? Base times height divided by 2. So in order to find this, I could just use this formula. So 3 squared is 9. 9 times 5, 45.
I didn't get K is the ratio, like the like ratio of the similar shape.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Oops. So so yeah, and then 15 times 6 divided by 2, you get 45. Right. So if you do the calculation for this big triangle, base times height is 15 times 6, which is 90. 90 divided by 2, you get 45, which is the same as what we got right here using this formula. Okay. So this formula works when you don't have all the information. So I could have not given you that, and you would still be able to find out the area.
If the ratio is conformal, is the 10 and the 5?
Yeah, because remember how I was saying for this triangle right here, this is your second triangle. So it's not just 10, but 15. Yeah. So that's why for area, it will be 6 times 15, which is 90. 90 divided by 2, you get 45 centimeters squared. Okay. Okay. So I just want to take up the first 3 questions from yesterday's review package. Let me grab that. This. Okay, so I think you guys like once we do a lot of SOHCAHTOA, I find that people just remember about SOHCAHTOA and then forget about similar triangles. So yesterday, my afternoon class, they had a lot of trouble with number 1, 2, and 3 because they forgot what they did with similar triangles. Okay, so looking at this diagram, again, remember you can redraw one of the triangles, you can rotate it, you can highlight it. So which side do I compare this length with? Yep,
4.
the 4, good. And what about the A right here? The A right here, I would compare it with the, yep, 15. That's right. So when you set up your 2 ratios, that's what you would want to write. So 6 over 4 equals 15 over A. Okay. How do I know it's 15 over A and not A over 15? Yep.
Put the bigger one first for the 6.
Yeah. Alright, so if I started with this triangle, I have to make sure I start with this triangle on the right side as well. That's the number 1 mistake that people do, is they mix up the order. So when you cross multiply, you get 6A equals 60. And so A equals 10. What's my unit? Meters, because it's a length. Okay. Similarly, for B, I would do the same thing. Okay, that means B, I'm comparing it with the 8. And so my second set, I do the same thing. I compare the 6 with the 4. And then the B with the 8. Okay, cross multiply. So 4B equals 48. So B equals 12 meters. Okay. And if you sub it back into the original diagram, you can see that, okay, it makes sense. It's the numbers are not like way off. If like, let's say I get 100, I know I probably made a mistake. Okay. Okay, number 2, this one is the one that a lot of people had difficulty with. So the 3.1, what do I compare the 3.1 with? Yep, X, good. And what about the 5.1? What do I compare the 5.1 with? 8.7. So not 3.6, because again, 3.6, this is not a triangle. The whole triangle right here is 8.7. So when you write your ratios, you will write 3.1 to the x equal 5.1 to 8.7. Okay. Cross multiply. 5.1x equals somebody took my calculator and forgot to return it last period. Okay. 3.1 times 8.7, 26.97. And so when you divide it by 5.1, you get 5.3 centimeters. Okay. And then for the second part, this is the part where a lot of people got confused. So same logic, I'm gonna, which side does the y compare to? Yeah. Y plus 4. This whole length right here is y plus 4. So it doesn't have to be a number. It could be an expression. You guys know how to solve expressions in equations like these. So y over y plus 4, just like how we did it over here with numbers, equals 5.1 over 8.7. Okay. It doesn't matter if you do equal 3.1 over 5.3. The ratio is the same. That's what similar triangles are. So when you cross multiply, you get 8.7y equal 5.1 times y plus 4. Like that. Okay? Distribute this. 8.7y equals 5.1y plus 20.4. When you move this over, you get 3.6. And then dividing it, so 20.4 divided by 3.6, you get y equal 5.67, which is around 5.7 rounded centimeters. Okay. How many of you got these two answers for number 2? Okay, good. Okay. So my afternoon class had a lot of trouble with this part. Okay, but it's the same logic as if it was given numbers. So just because you're given variables, it's okay. You know how to solve it. The method is the same. Okay, last one. A tower 17.5 meter high has been built on level ground. The tower casts a shadow that is 5 meter long when it measures from the center of the base. A woman 1.5 meter tall is standing closer to the tower. Determine the length of the shadow that is cast by the woman. Okay, so your a tower is supposed to be straight, okay, unless it's the leaning tower or something. Okay, and if it's a leaning tower, it will tell you it's a leaning tower. So your tower is 17.5 meters high. Okay, that's the tower. Where do you see shadows in general, in real life? Where do you see shadows? On the floor, thank you. Yes. So that's your shadow right there. I have people come up to me and say, this is my shadow. Okay? Your shadow is always on the ground. So this is shadow right here. Okay? It's on the ground and it makes a shadow of 5 meters. Okay? So all this part right here, that's 5. A woman that is standing beside the tower, who's 1.5 meter tall, okay, and casts a shadow as well, like this. Okay. Now remember, we're trying to make a triangle, so just make a triangle like that. Okay, and so you are trying to look for x right here. Okay, this is a right angle triangle, but would you do similar triangle or SOHCAHTOA? Yeah, similar triangles, because I do have 2 triangles. If I did SOHCAHTOA, will it still work? Okay, but how would I use SOHCAHTOA to help me find x?
So what you would first do is, so you would find all the angles in the larger triangle, and then you.
Yeah. Okay, so if you were to use SOHCAHTOA, you could use the 17.5 and the 5 to find this angle. And then since this angle is the same for this similar triangle, you can use that with this to find x. Okay, but yeah, easier way is just to use similar triangle. So in this case, I would compare the 17.5 with the 1.5. and I would compare the 5 with the x. So then cross multiply and divide, you get 17.5x equals 1.5 times 5 is 7.5. And then when you divide it, x equals 17.5, you get 0.4 meters. Okay. And let's say I made a mistake. I did, instead of 7.5 divided by 17.5, I did the other way. And I did 17.5 divided by 7.5. I get around like 2.3. All right. I will know that that's wrong because remember, it's supposed to have the same ratio. For it to be 2.3, that's not the same ratio as 17.5 to 1.5. So that's also like, every time I get an answer, look back at your main question or main diagram to see if it makes sense. Okay. And then the rest are pretty straightforward. I think you guys were okay with these. Question, Paul?
How do you know two triangles actually?
So as we were saying, remember that similar triangle definition is that they have the same angles. So this angle is the same as the angle in this triangle. And so if two angles of a triangle are the same, then the third has to be also the same. Okay. This one. I also wanted to quickly talk about this one. Notice this. Again, I don't give you a diagram, and that was the hardest part. I just tell you that it's triangle ABC. Okay. Angle A is 90 degrees. So that means this right here has to be A because that's your 90-degree angle. B and C, it doesn't matter which side you call B, which side you call C. Let's say I call this angle B, which is 72 right here. Then length B, where is length B? Yep. In between A and C because it's opposite to angle B. So this has to be 22. Okay? So that was the only tricky part to a question like this. And then, how many of you have finished number 10? Okay, so let's just draw this diagram really quickly. From a window that's 26 meters above the ground, the angle of elevation to the top of another building is 39. So this is the building. Okay. Buildings are vertical. Okay, that's why I drew a vertical line. Angle of elevation. So again, first I draw my horizontal line, and then angle of elevation. That means this angle right here. This is 39 degrees. And then angle of depression to the bottom of the building. This right here. This angle right here, that's 29 degrees. How high is the building? So this is a right angle. This is another right angle. So looking at this, I need to find this length first. Once I find that length, it means that I have this length. And then I can do my two separate triangles. So find the angle, actually, no. I don't even need to find this. What is x? What is this length right here? Yeah, 26, right? This part is the same as this part. So I know this is already 26. So all I need to do, use this triangle to figure out the distance between the two buildings. Once I have that, I can use that with the 39 degrees to find y and then add it to the 26 to find the height of the building. Elizabeth, what did you get for the answer?
For the height,
Yeah, your final answer? 64 meters. Is that what you guys got? Yeah. Okay. Henny says yes. She agrees with you. Okay, and I trust you guys. And actually, I gave answers. So yeah, I trust myself too. Okay. So that was yesterday's homework. How was yesterday's homework? Not bad. Okay, but I think you guys need more practice. So I do have today's worksheet right here. And I want you guys to figure out. So you can see these ones right here, no diagram. I want you guys to draw the diagram for all these. Okay? So try these out. Oh, thank you. I think you can use a little walk around the room. So work on those, and we'll take these up tomorrow.